After yesterday's story on the graffiti cleanup efforts along local highways, we heard from many of you asking about the tagged up highway signs that we've been seeing so frequently. Fox 12 investigative reporter Ezra Kaplan has some of the answers to your questions.
When taggers leave their mark on walls or barricades, it's a pretty straightforward process to cover it up with fresh paint. But when they deface a highway sign, it's much more difficult to clean up the damage. Many of the newer signs have an anti-graffiti film that allows ODOT to wash off spray paint. But those protective coverings only last for a couple of cleanings before the sign has to be taken down to be repaired or replaced. And they are not cheap. Each sign costs between $8,000 and $10,000 to make, and that doesn't include the labor and other costs associated with installing them, which usually requires shutting down at least one highway lane in order to safely work. In total, it can cost over $20,000 for each sign replacement. And many of the signs have been hit by the same tagger, who goes by the moniker Basin. That person is on the police's radar, but so far, no arrests have been made. ODOT tells me there are currently about a dozen damaged signs on highways around the Portland area, and they're working on getting them all replaced. We, however, are working on a deeper dive into graffiti on those highway signs and planning to go and see what it actually takes to make them. Stay tuned for more on this in coming weeks. Reporting in studio, Ezra Kaplan, Fox 12 Oregon.